Wanguri.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I rise this evening to offer my condolences to the Adams family, who lost their matriarch, Mona Paulina Adams, on the 2nd of May to be with her beloved late husband, Charlie Adams. Mona was affectionately known to the Torres Strait, Aboriginal and wider Territory community as Auntie Mona. Mr. Deputy Speaker, Mona Adams was 97 years of age and every week would meet with her family in front of my office at Hibiscus Shopping Centre, where there would often be over 30 family members sharing food and time with their matriarch. Mona's funeral was which I attended, was held last Friday at St Mary's Catholic Cathedral here in Smith Street, and there must have been over 1,000 people in attendance from across the Territory, and many travelled from Queensland also. Mr. Deputy Speaker, Mona was born in Darwin on the 28th of September 1927. Her Chinese father was Thomas Lee Ying, and her mother, Basilia Angeles, was of European, Aboriginal and Filipino descent. Mona spent her toddler years living there with her father's family, who lived behind their shop in Chinatown, with her 7 siblings, Peter, Dolores, Primo, Martin, Thomas, Margot and Gloria. She attended St Joseph's Catholic College, which later became St Mary's, up to Year 5. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the family had to evacuate to Cairns as the Second World War was imminent, and during her time living in Cairns, Mona met the love of her life in Charlie Adams, who was of Aboriginal, Torres Strait, Malayan and Indonesian descent, and they were married on the 8th of July 1944. They began their family with their children Isabel, Lorraine, Mick and Maisie. In 1949, they moved to Darwin and shared a hut at Parap Camp with Mona's grandparents, Valeriana and Paulina Angeles, and their family. Mr. Deputy Speaker, Mona and Charlie were later allocated their own hut next door in Luxon Street in Stewart Park, and whilst living there, their family increased with the birth of Tom, Rayo, Muscles, Fred, Serena, Gina, Joanne, Charlie and David, 13 children in total. Mr. Deputy Speaker, Mona may have had very little funds in those days, especially raising her 13 children, but made them all attend school for their education. Mona's home often became home for relatives and friends from Thursday Island, who treated Mona with love and deep respect. Mr. Deputy Speaker, Mona worked at the Old Darwin Hospital and then later moved to the Royal Darwin Hospital, which she enjoyed and where she made lots of wonderful long-term friends. After Cyclone Tracy, the Adams family were evacuated to Cairns, and whilst Mona worked at the Cairns-based hospital. The advantage of living and working in Cairns was spending time with Charlie's large family that lived there also. Mr. Deputy Speaker, at the age of 50, Mona finally got her driver's licence and bought a car and chauffeured her husband and children. They would often go to the Evergreen Club, bingo at St Mary's Club, the Greek Hall, and visit family who lived at Coringal Flats at Fanny Bay. Mr. Deputy Speaker, Mona loved to dance with her husband, and they renewed their wedding vows on their 50th golden wedding anniversary in 1994, before the passing of her beloved husband in the following year. Since then, Mona had lost all her siblings and 3 of her own sons, also passing before her, but continued to be the strong matriarch. Mr. Deputy Speaker, Mona was always the first to arrive and the last to leave at family gatherings and parties regardless of her age or her health. Mona looked forward to attending Sunday Mass at St Martin's de Porres Church at Wanguri, where she was also loved and respected by attendees and their congregation. Mr. Deputy Speaker, many people could take a leaf out of Mona's book, as she never said a bad thing about anyone and always looked for the good in people. Mona was highly respected in the community, who was devoted to her family and loyal to her friends. Mr. Deputy Speaker, Mona and her late husband had 13 children of their own and leaves a legacy of 36 grandchildren, 61 great-grandchildren and over 40 great-great-grandchildren. Mona and her daughter Maisie co-wrote a book called Mona's Memories and is a wonderful recollection of her beautiful life published in 2020. Mr. Deputy Speaker, Mona Adams was a special true Territorian, and I know the family will miss her dearly. And if they continue to meet at Hibiscus for their family weekly gatherings, it will be hard, but she has left them with a wonderful legacy, and I again wish to convey my condolences to Mona's family. Madam Speaker, on a lighter note, I wish to speak tonight on a great community work, the Australian Vietnamese Family Association, led by President and founding member Lan An Dam, also known as Anna, and Vice President Koa Nguyen, also known as Ben. They lead a fantastic community with great committee and volunteers who want to see their members thrive. Throughout the year, this organisation not only hosts a wonderful New Year's celebration and one of the most loved festivals in the Lantern Festival down at the waterfront, but also holds informative and impactful seminar forums for their own and wider community. Mr Deputy Speaker, earlier in the year, I was fortunate to be a guest speaker at the International Women's Day event with some great leaders in their community. This event certainly highlighted the long-term contributions the Vietnamese community make here in the Territory. But Mr Deputy Speaker, it was a recent event that I attended and run by the Australian Vietnamese Family Association titled Resume and Job Tips in Darwin, held on Saturday the 13th of April at the 𝙍𝙀𝙇𝙀𝙑𝙍𝙎. This session gave attendees hints and tips on seeking employment in the Territory. What was discovered is that most of the attendees meet the education selection criteria in most vacant positions advertised, but often lack the confidence when applying and the interview process. The seminar gave further advice and clarification from the three guest speakers, Mr Chris Mowat, Senior Director of Investment Engagement, Department of Business, Trade and Asian Relations, Mr Tu Nguyen, Head Chef of the Darwin Trailer Boat Club, and Mr An Vong, the Integration Developer at Charles Darwin University. Mr Deputy Speaker, it was great to stay on after the session and speak to many of the attendees who provided feedback that the session was extremely helpful and gave them confidence to look actively for employment in workforce. Mr Deputy Speaker, the Association also recently held their NT Study and Transition Pathways event, and this week they'll be running their Taxes Wellbeing session. Mr Deputy Speaker, I want to thank Anna, Ben and the committee at the Australian Vietnamese Family Association in providing great accessible information sessions to the community. And Mr Deputy Speaker, finally I want to congratulate the Australian-China Friendship Association, and I've spoken previously in this House about their wonderful events, but they held their annual Dragon Boat Festival on the Sunday the 27th at Cullen Bay. It was such a wonderful event, and I know the member for Sanderson, member for Catherine, member for Karama, yourself, the member for Port Darwin was attending, but it was myself and the member for Casuarina and the member for Fanny Bay who participated in the actual dragon boat racing. Let's just say, Mr Deputy Speaker, you may have seen, we might have to just stick to our day jobs as our boat did not make it to the finals. But finally also, Mr Deputy Speaker, it was the evening before that the Association held their Lotus Wind concert with choir conductor Sue Chen Yu and musician Sam Hartley. Mr Deputy Speaker, I know you were there too also. The concert was a wonderful event evening and I look forward to many more. I wish to thank Shu Lee and the committee of the Australian-China Friendship Association in hosting two wonderful events. Thank you again, Mr Deputy Speaker.